Fighting with the swords, gone. Playing with the brain, on. Let's play Giraffe Chess Hattrick League Season 3.
International Giraffe Chess Federation presents Hattrick League Season 3 between 10 Proddatur teams. Hello everyone, welcome to India's new 68 squad Giraffe Chess Academy Proddatur, and welcome to the live telecast of no draws, no resigns, only win or lose in just 70 moves Giraffe Chess Hattrick League 2024 Season 3. Let us watch Hattrick League third match between Proddatur Rhinos versus Proddatur Jaguars. Each team consists of 3 players. Whoever team all outs opponent all 3 players is the match winners. Let us see the toss at the center of the court.
What you say? Tail is the count from Proddatur Jaguars.
Yes, sir.
It is
Heads.
heads. Toss won by the Proddatur Rhinos. And what you will select? Proddatur Rhinos, they won the toss and elected to
Toss
play
won by the
first
Proddatur
game
Rhinos
on
and
white side.
opted to
Good
play
luck
on
to
white side.
both players. All the best.
And here is the both teams lineup. For Proddatur Rhinos team, Charantes is the opener and Ganesh is the second player, and Mohit comes to play as third player. And for Proddatur Jaguars team, Vignesh is the opener and Sinu is the second player, and Nandan Sai comes to play as third player. Now, let us watch first game of the match between Proddatur Rhinos team opening player Charantes versus Proddatur Jaguars team opening player Vignesh. Let us see among these 2 players who will win this game and who will do hat-trick and who will be the hat-trick hero of today's great match. Let us watch. Let us move on to the court. Proddatur Rhinos team opening player Charantes is ready to play on white side. Let us see on other side of the court. Best scholar awardee Proddatur Jaguars team opening player Vignesh is ready to play on black side. Now we can see both players are ready to start the game 1 of the match. Black side player Vignesh is ready to hit the clock. Yes, he hit the clock. Game 1 started.
Pawn to e4, pawn to d6, queen to f3, knight to f6, pawn to e5, pawn capture pawn to e5, bishop to c4, pawn to e4, queen to e2, bishop to e6, bishop capture bishop at e6, giraffe capture bishop at e6, giraffe to e3, knight to g8, giraffe to h4, queen to d6, queen capture pawn at e4, pawn to c6, knight to e2, giraffe to b5, queen to e3, giraffe to f6, queen to f3, giraffe capture pawn at c2, giraffe to d3, giraffe captured queen at f3, pawn capture giraffe at f3, queen capture giraffe at d3, knight to f4, queen capture pawn at f4, knight to e2, queen capture rook at h1 and check to white king, giraffe to g1, queen capture pawn at h2, pawn to d4, pawn to e6, bishop to f4, bishop to b4 and check to white king, knight to c3, knight to d7, bishop capture queen at h2, knight to h6, giraffe to f4, rook to g8, giraffe to c5, giraffe capture giraffe at c5, pawn capture giraffe at c5, bishop capture pawn at c5, rook to d1, knight to f6, bishop to c7, rook to c8, bishop to e5, knight to g4, bishop capture knight at f6, pawn capture bishop at f6, knight to e4, bishop to b4 and check to white king, king to f1, king to e7, pawn to f3, knight to e3 and check to white king, king to e0, knight capture rook at d1, king capture knight at d1, rook to d1 and check to white king, king to c2, pawn to f5, knight to f2, king to f6, king to b2, bishop to c5, king to c4, bishop capture knight at f2, knight to c3, king to g5, king to b3, king to h4, knight to e2, king to h3, king to c2, king to g2, pawn to b4, King to
Yes, now we
F1.
can see Vignesh is one step away to win by crowning.
Pawn to
Now
F4.
he moved his
King
king
to
to E9 and
E0,
he won by the
crowning win.
crowning. And Charantej out. Proddatur Rhinos team first player Charantej out, and this is the first win to Vignesh. What a superb win by crowning. Now, let us watch second game of the match between Proddatur Rhinos team second player Ganesh versus Proddatur Jaguars team opening player Vignesh. Let us see among these two players who will win this game and who will do Hattrick and who will be the Hattrick hero of today's great match. Among these two players, Vignesh already won the first game and now playing for winning second game. Let us watch what will happen. Let us move on to the court. 3 times Hattrick hero, best scholar awardee, Proddatur Rhinos team second player Ganesh is ready to play on black side. Okay. Let us see on other side of the court. Best scholar awardee, Proddatur Jaguars team opening player Vignesh is ready to play on white side. Now we can see both players are ready to start the game 2 of the match. Black side player Ganesh is ready to hit the clock. Yes, he hit the clock. Game 2 started.
Pawn to E4. Pawn to F6. Pawn to D4. Pawn to E5. Pawn to C3. Pawn to D6. Knight to F3. Knight to C6. Bishop to C4. Giraffe to E6. Pawn to D5. Giraffe captured knight at F3. Queen captured giraffe at F3. Knight to E7. Giraffe to G1. Knight to H6. Bishop to B5 and check to black king. Bishop to D7. Bishop captured bishop at D7 and check to black king. Queen captured bishop at D7. Giraffe to D3. Pawn to C6. Giraffe to A4. Pawn captured pawn at D5. Giraffe captured pawn at D5 and check to black king. Knight captured giraffe at D5. Pawn captured knight at D5. Queen to G4. Queen captured queen at G4. Knight captured queen at G4. Knight to D2. giraffe to b8, pawn to h3, knight to h6, giraffe to d0, knight to f5, knight to e4, giraffe to c5, knight captured giraffe at c5, pawn captured knight at c5, castling at king side, bishop to d6, bishop to d2, rook to d8, rook to d1, king to f7, pawn to c4, knight to d4, bishop to c3, rook to d7, giraffe to e3, bishop to c7, giraffe to d0, pawn to b5, pawn to b4, knight to e2 and check to white king, king to h1, knight capture bishop at c3, giraffe capture knight at c3, pawn capture pawn at b4, Giraffe to D0. Pawn capture pawn to C4. Giraffe to E3. Pawn to A5. Pawn to F3. Rook to D8. Rook to D2. Rook capture pawn to D5. Rook to C2. Pawn to C3. Pawn to G3. Rook to D1. King to G1. Rook to D2. Rook capture rook at D2. Rook capture rook at D2. Rook to E1. Bishop to B6. King to F1. Bishop capture giraffe at E3. Rook capture bishop at E3. King to E6. Rook to E2. King to F5. King to F2. King to E3. King to E6. Rook to E1. King to D5. Pawn to F4. King to E6. King to E4. King to F7. King to F5. King to G7. King to E6. King to G8. King to E7. King to H8. King to E8. King to G7.
Now we can see Vignesh is
King to
just
E9,
one step
crowning
away
win.
to win by crowning. Yes, he moved his king to E9 and he won by the crowning. Rhinos team player, second player, Ganesh out. Rhinos team lost first two players. Vignesh continuously won 2 games. He is on Hattrick. Now, let us watch third game of the match between Proddatur Rhinos team last player Mohit Reddy versus Proddatur Jaguars team opening player Vignesh. Let us see among these two players who will win this game and who will do hat-trick and who will be the hat-trick hero of today's great match. Among these two players, Vignesh already won continuously 2 games and now playing third game for doing hat-trick. Let us see what will happen. Let us move on to the court. Best Scholar awardee, Proddatur Rhinos team last player Mohit Reddy is ready to play on right side. Let us see on other side of the court. Best Scholar awardee, Proddatur Jaguars team opening player Vignesh is ready to play on black side. Now we can see both players are ready to start the game 3 of the match. Black side player Vignesh is ready to hit the clock. Yes, he hit the clock. Game 3 started.
Pawn to e3, pawn to d6, pawn to d4, pawn to e6, pawn to f4, knight to f6, pawn to e4, knight capture pawn to e4, bishop to d3, knight to f6, queen to f3, giraffe to g8, pawn to g4, pawn to h6, pawn to h3, giraffe to d7, pawn to b3, pawn to d5, giraffe to e3, knight to c6, giraffe capture knight at f6, queen capture giraffe at f6, knight to e2, bishop to d6, pawn to h4, knight capture pawn at d4, pawn to g5, pawn capture pawn at g5, knight capture knight at d4, queen capture knight at d4, pawn to c3, queen to b6, pawn capture pawn at g5, rook capture rook at h1 and check to white king, giraffe capture rook at h1, queen to g1 and check to white king, queen to f1, queen to g3 and check to white king, queen to f2, queen capture bishop at d3, knight to d0, queen to e4 and check to white king, giraffe to e2, giraffe to a6, knight to f1, queen to c2, giraffe capture pawn at d5, giraffe capture giraffe at d5, queen capture queen at c2, giraffe capture queen at c2, king to d2, giraffe to d5, pawn to c4, giraffe to a6, pawn to b4, bishop capture pawn to b4 and check to white king, king to d3, giraffe to d7, rook to b1, bishop to d6, knight to e3, bishop capture pawn at f4, knight to g4, bishop capture bishop at c1, rook captures bishop at c1, pawn to b6, knight to e5, giraffe to g8, pawn to g6, pawn to f6, knight to f7, giraffe to c7, rook to e1, giraffe captured pawn at g6, knight captured giraffe at e9, king captured knight at e9, king to d4, bishop to d7, pawn to c4, rook to d8, pawn capture pawn to b6, pawn capture pawn to b6, king to c4, king to e8, pawn to a4, giraffe to f3 and check to white king, king to b4, rook to e8, rook to h1, king to e7, rook to h7, king to f7, king to c3, king to g6, rook to h3, bishop to c6, rook to g3 and check to black king, king to f5, rook captured pawn at g7, king to f4, rook to g1, king to e3, king to b2, king to f2, rook to a1, rook capture rook at a4, rook to b1, bishop to e4, rook to c1, rook to b4 and check to white king, king to a3, rook to b5, king to a4, rook to a5 and check to white king, king to b4, king to e2, king to c3, rook to c5 and check to white king, king to b2, rook capture rook at c1, king capture rook at c1, king to f1.
Yes, now we can see Vignesh is one step away
King
to win
to
by
d0.
crowning. Yes, he moved his king to
King to
e9 and it
e0,
is a win.
crowning
Not
win.
only win, it is a hat-trick to the Vignesh. Third player, Mohit out for Rhinos team. Superb performance by the Vignesh. It is the best hat-trick for him. And this is the first hat-trick to Vignesh in Hattrick League.
Hello everyone, welcome to Giraffe Chess Hattrick League Season 3 and welcome to the Hattrick Hero cash prize ceremony. Just now we watched most exciting and interesting Hattrick League match number 3 between Proddatur Jaguars team versus Proddatur Rhinos team. In that match, one player, he all-outs opponent all 3 players in 159 moves. That match is debut match for him. For that match, he played very nice and he did hat-trick. He is none other than Best Scholar awardee, Proddatur Jaguars team player, Vignesh. Please come over the dais. All of you give big clap. Congratulations, Vignesh. No, on this occasion, International Giraffe Chess Federation is giving 500 rupees cash prize for today's Hattrick hero, debut match Hattrick hero Vignesh. Congratulations once again. On this occasion, shall I take a small interview? So, you played very well. Entire match, you rock it. So, you all out opponent all three players in 159 moves. Each match is exciting and interesting. So, in this match, first you out opponent player Charantes, isn't it? That too in by crowning in 52 moves. So, in that match, in that game, so what is the winning move?
In the beginning opening game, he made some mistakes that I calculated it and made a free route for the crowning. So I made it win for me.
Yes, exactly. I too watched that game. So what he did, that is the game winning move for him. So in the next game, first game he won by crowning. In second game, you played with Ganesh. Ganesh is very good player, he excellent player, he will play nicely. Then you out Ganesh in by crowning by 45 moves. So what is the best game winning move?
It was a tough game with Ganesh. In the end game he made a blunder that gives way to my crowning. So he made that blunder that makes me win.
Okay, so first game he won by crowning, second game he won by crowning, even the third game, that is the very important for Hattrick hero. So in that game he played with Mohit Reddy. He is an excellent player in giraffe chess, especially in Sundays tournaments and all under 19, 17. So do you feel any nervous and how you won the game against Mohit Reddy?
Mohit nowadays playing good well. Now he has a good touch with the pieces. It made a blunder from Mohit in the middle game. I capitalized it and give to my power to power. So in the end game, I would like to got a free space for my crowning. So that makes me win.
Yes, exactly what you said. So that right now everyone watched that match. Same, what are the things that he told, he expressed, those are the game winning moments for the today's Hattrick hero. So that makes him all out opponent all three players and became today's Hattrick hero. So this is your debut match in Hattrick League and how you feel. So in debut match itself you became Hattrick hero. Are you feeling happy?
Yeah, it's feeling good, sir. In the debut only I made a hat-trick. Hope the next also I'll make a hat-trick next matches also.
Sure, best wishes for the next upcoming Hattrick League matches. And apart from that, finally I would like to ask you one question. So this debut match Hattrick, you became a Hattrick hero, you did very good Hattrick. Whom you dedicated this Hattrick?
Yeah, absolutely to my parents only, sir. They made me to come up to here. So I dedicate it to my parents only.
Very good, congratulations once again. So parents are the supporters for coming over here and doing Hattrick to Vignesh and best wishes for the next matches. All of you give big clap to today's Hattrick hero once again. Thank you, Varma. Thank you.
And finally, here is the today's Hattrick hero Vignesh scorecard. In game 1, he outs Charantes by crowning in 43 moves. In game 2, he outs Ganesh by crowning in 51 moves. In game 3, he outs Mohit by crowning in 62 moves. So totally, he did Hattrick in 156 moves. Congratulations Hattrick hero Vignesh and all the best for the next matches. And here is the points table of Giraffe Chess Hattrick League 2024 Season 3. Let us see what are the top 3 teams after finishing off 3 matches. Proddatur Chiruta's team with 2 points stands on first position. Proddatur Spartan's team with 2 points stands on second position. Proddatur Jaguars team with 2 points stands on third position. Each team after playing 9 matches, final points are calculated for the top 4 positions. Top 4 teams only qualify for the final playoffs.